everyone, I'm Aditi from grade 9. So I'm here to give a report based on the COVID-19 crisis. Let us first discuss about what is coronavirus, what are the symptoms of the coronavirus disease COVID-19, how an infected person transmits the virus to a non-infected person, and what measures can be taken by each and every individual to prevent herself or himself from the COVID-19 disease. So first, what are coronaviruses? Coronaviruses are a family of viruses that can cause a range of illness from a common cold to severe forms such as SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome or MERS, Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, which are life-threatening. This virus is named after its shape, which is in the form of a crown with protrusions, and hence it is known as coronavirus. So, what are the symptoms of the coronavirus disease COVID 19? So, people may have this virus for 1 to 14 days, and the common effects of this virus is common cold, tiredness, headache, dry cough, etc. And around 80% of the people who are affected with this disease recover easily without any specific treatment or special attention. And moreover, older people and people with underlying conditions can become severely ill if they contract this virus. So, how does it transmit from an infected person to a non infected person? So, when an infected person coughs or sneezes, he or she releases tiny droplets which can directly be inhaled by a non infected person, or it would fall on floors or surfaces. So, a non infected person can catch this virus by placing his or her hand on the floors of the viruses and then touching their hands on their nose, eyes, or mouth. So, what protective measures can be taken by every single individual to protect himself or herself from the COVID 19? So, the first and the foremost important thing that everybody should do is to educate ourselves. So, we have to know what would be the symptoms of this virus, how does it transmit, and we have to look at the daily news and update ourselves about what is going on around in the world. And also, we have to follow certain simple remedies which will be effective in protecting ourselves from this deadly disease. So, they would be washing our hands regularly and thoroughly with alcohol based rub or soap and water. So, why do we have to do this? When we clean our hands with an alcohol based rub or wash them with soap or water, it will kill the viruses present in our hand. The next thing is to at least maintain 3 feet gap between any person whom we have contact with. So why do we have to do this? Because as I already said, an infected person, when he or she coughs or sneezes, releases droplets which can be taken up by a non-infected person. The third important thing that everybody should do is to make sure that you and the person around you follow a good respiratory hygiene. That is, when you cough or sneeze, you either blow into your elbows or you use a tissue and discard it off immediately. So now my speech is going to be like a question and answer session where I'll be stating out common questions and giving them answers myself. So the first, are antibiotics effective in preventing or treating COVID 19? So, unfortunately, the answer to this is no, because antibiotics do not work against viruses, they only work on bacterial infections. As COVID 19 is a disease which is caused by coronavirus, antibiotics do not work on viral infections. Viruses and bacteria are totally different. Is COVID 19 the same as SARS? SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome. COVID 19 is not the same as SARS, but they are related to each other genetically. But the diseases they cause are quite different. Should I wear a mask to protect myself? So, if people who has got COVID 19 and the people who are looking after the people who has got COVID 19 are advised to wear masks to prevent themselves from being exposed to this virus. But if you are a normal hygienic person, then it is suggested not to wear masks because there is a shortage of masks globally, and it is also really very important that we use them wisely. How long is the incubation period for COVID 19? Incubation period is a bit fancy word, but the meaning is quite simple. So it means that the time between catching the virus and the appearance of the symptoms. So doctors say Incubation period for this virus ranges from 1 to 14 days, and that is commonly around 5 days. Can humans become infected from an animal source or their pets? So people having pets might be wondering about this question, but there are evidences which states that an human source can transmit the disease to an animal source, but there is no evidence which states that an animal source could, transmit the disease to a human source. Based on the evidence currently, human to human transmission is the main driver, and it is also not believed that cats and dogs, which are commonly the pets, could be the intermediate host in the transmission of this COVID 19. How long does the virus causing COVID 19 survive on the surfaces? So, it is not known how long the virus that causes COVID 19 survive on surfaces, but it is said that it has the same characteristics as other coronaviruses. So, it could stay there for a few hours or a few days, depending upon different conditions, which would be the type of climate, type of surfaces, humidity of the environment, etc. Is the source of the coronavirus causing COVID 19 known? So, the coronavirus which is causing COVID 19 is SARS CoV 2 and it is unknown, but it is believed that it has a natural animal origin. SARS CoV 2 and SARS COVID, which caused the SARS outbreak, and COVIDs are isolated from bats, and it is believed that SARS CoV 2 has an ecological reservoir in bats. How did the first human SARS-CoV-2 infections occur in humans? So the first COVID-19 cases were reported in the Wuhan city of China at December 2019. But it was not able to precisely determine how the humans initially contracted this disease. But SARS-CoV, the disease which caused the SARS outbreak, jumped from an animal barrier to human and started transmitting between humans. So it is also believed that SARS-CoV-2 also jumped from an animal barrier and started transmitting between humans, but through an intermediate host. Intermediate host in the sense, uh, an animal which is handled by humans. So it could be a domesticated animal, a wild animal, or a domesticated wild animal. It is not known till now. Is COVID 19 airborne? Fortunately, COVID 19 is not airborne. As I already said, when an infected person coughs or sneezes, he or she releases droplets which are too heavy to suspend in the air, so they fall on the floor or surfaces. Okay, so initially, when COVID 19 cases were reported, it got me thinking about influenza, that whether they could be related in some way, or that whether the antivirals or vaccines used for influenza could be, effective in treating COVID 19. Many of you would have also wondered about these questions, but COVID 19 and influenza are not alike. I'll tell you how they are not alike. The first and the main point of difference is the speed of transmission. So the speed of transmission is more in influenza than in the COVID 19. So the shorter median incubation period, that is the time between catching the virus and the appearance of the symptoms, and the shorter serial interval, which is the number of successive cases, is estimated to be around 5 to 6 days for COVID 19, whereas it is 3 days in influenza. So, influenza spreads more faster than COVID 19. Second is the reproductive number, that is the number of secondary infections from one infected person. So the reproductive number for COVID 19 is 2 and 2 or 2.5, which is more than the COVID 19. And the third point of difference is that children are the main drivers of influenza, whereas in COVID 19, it is older people and the people who have underlying medical conditions. Underlying medical conditions. So these 3 points of differences, these three are the differences between the influenza virus and the COVID 19 virus. What medical interventions are available for influenza and COVID 19 viruses? So currently there are number of therapeutics in clinical trials in the Wuhan city of China and more than 20 vaccines in development for COVID-19, but there is no licensed therapeutics or vaccine. On the contrary, influenza has antivirals and vaccines. So influenza's antivirals and vaccines are not effective in treating COVID-19, but it is highly recommended to take antivirals and vaccines for influenza each and every year because there are still cases reported all around the world for influenza which we are unaware of. If a pregnant woman has COVID 19, can she pass on the virus to her fetus or a baby? So, doctors still do not know that whether a pregnant woman having COVID 19 could pass on the virus to her fetus or a baby. And to date, there are no samples of the virus in the amniotic fluid or the breast milk. Amniotic fluid or breast milk. Can she have close contact or breastfeed her baby? Yes, close contact and early exclusive breastfeeding would help the baby to will help her child to thrive, but it should be done in a very careful manner. So now we are going to discuss about the the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the lives and livelihoods of people and the global economy. So, whose food security and livelihoods are most at risk due to this pandemic? So currently around 820 million people are suffering from chronic hunger and they don't have enough food and enough caloric energy to lead normal lives. And also out of these 113 million people are coping with acute severe food insecurity. It is a situation so dangerous that it poses a immediate threat to their lives. And all around the world, there are COVID-19 cases reported in the world regions that proliferate 44 countries that need external food assistance, and or in the 53 countries with home to 113 million people coping with acute food insecurity, whose public health and social protection systems could face capacity constraints and the consequences could be drastic. Indeed, FAO, Food and Agricultural Organization, is more worried about the vulnerable communities that are already grappling with hunger and other crises. Vulnerable groups also include small scale farmers and fishers whose only source of income is their job, and when they are hindered to do their job, they don't have enough money to support food for their entire family. Millions of children have come to rely upon the school meals. For example, in Latin America and Caribbean, 85 million children are benefited from school meal programs initiated by the FAO. And now, as the schools have been suspended, many children across the globe are facing difficulty in acquiring food. So, what is the pandemic's impact on global economy? So the first thing is that markets are integrated and interlinked with the Chinese economy, which contributes 16% of the global gross domestic product. So thus any shock that affects China has now far consequences in the world economy. The second thing is that in March, the OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, had cut its forecast for global economic growth for 2020 from 2.9% to 2.4%. 2.4%, which is the lowest since the financial crisis a decade ago. And also, they have said that if there is an intensive and prolonged coronavirus disease epidemic, it would even halve this figure to a mere 1.5%. And finally, there is a significant devaluation of the exchange rate with respect to the US dollars, which could affect the import dependent countries. So now we are going to discuss about the hydroxychloroquine drug. So this drug, hydroxychloroquine drug, has been making headlines as possible treatment for COVID-19. Hydroxychloroquine (HCQ) is used to treat and prevent malaria. It has been used since the 1940s. It can be ingested by mouth, and it is also used to treat arthritis and lupus. The common side effects of hydroxychloroquine drug include vomiting, headaches, muscle weakness, and severe side effects are allergic reactions. So how is it being used? So hydroxychloroquine, when taken, it can help tame an overreactive immune system. It is sold in generic form under the brand name Plaquenil in the United States, and doctors can also prescribe it off-label, as many are doing it now with COVID-19. So what is the risk of ingesting hydroxychloroquine? So it can cause heart rhythm problems and muscle and nerve damage, and lower the blood pressure and So what do scientists and studies suggest about using hydroxychloroquine drug as a possible treatment for COVID-19? So this drug's methodology has already been criticized, and trials which are made for this HCQ drug um, had been done in an uncontrollable manner, so the results cannot has so the results cannot be reliable, and also rigorous clinical trials are needed to be done before HCQ is recommended for COVID-19. And also viruses that can work against drugs which can work against viruses in labs cannot give necessarily the same response in the human body. So to conclude, please wash your hands regularly and thoroughly. Please wash your hands regularly and thoroughly, and clean all surfaces with a simple disinfectant. Maintain at least 3 feet gap between any person whom you have contact with. If we follow all these simple remedies, it would be effective in preventing ourselves from COVID-19 disease. And it is also important that we follow the rules laid out by the government, and let us all fight against corona by staying safe at home.